YouTube. Today we're checking out the Hyper e-bike behind me here. This is a cruiser style bike that's using 36 volts of lithium ion battery to help get you up to speed, and you can purchase this without breaking the bank. It's only 400 Canadian dollars. Now Hyper claims that you're going to be able to get a fast and efficient ride out of this e-bike. But does that actually live up to the hype? We're going to test the battery life, the range, in addition to any sort of miscellaneous things that you wouldn't find on a spec sheet. Finally, we're going to take a look at some creative ways that you can actually make money off of this e-bike. So come on. So I actually purchased this bike in conjunction with another bike, the Hyper Radster on the left here. They were both purchased from Walmart for 400 Canadian each. And first off, they came shipped in this box, and so of course I had to unbox and set it up. This is kind of the unboxing process here. You have to cut through a lot of zip ties. And if you're wondering how I'm filming this is using the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses with a first-person point of view. So right off the bat, when I got this, I broke off one of the lights. It probably got damaged through shipping. So in terms of setting it up, unboxing plus assembly probably takes about 20 minutes if you're doing it together with somebody else. Originally, I actually tried to install this myself, but it's just like almost impossible. So I suggest 2 people for the job. If you never worked with a bike before, in terms of installation, it's quite simple. You really just need some Allen keys, and the instructions are provided inside the box. However, if you'd rather not install yourself, you can take it to your local bike shop. They usually charge about $50 to $100. So do factor that into the cost when you're thinking about purchasing this bike. As always, I will have Amazon affiliate links for this bike down below, but make sure you watch till the end because I go into both the pros and the cons about this bike. So here is the Hyper Cruiser. We'll take a look at the front here. These are 26-inch knobby tires. They are using the Schrader valves here. There are 2 of these keys that will allow you to put this in. This battery pops out, and kind of this is the size of the battery. So the battery is actually pretty compact. And there is a charging port here. So you can plug in here to charge the battery if you like. Or if you live in a house, you can keep the battery in here. And then you just charge it to this other port on top here. Schrader valves. In terms of the braking system, this is using V brakes. And usually you have to adjust this when you first get it. There is a front fender here, although it is a little bit kind of not too secure, but it does the job. Going to the front here, there's the dashboard, and this handlebar bar is swooped back. You got 7 speeds with the twist shifter. Here you got the speed control. So you have 3 modes: low, medium, and high. 6 kilometers. This allows you to push the bike and it'll give you some power on off, and it shows you the power indicator here. Here's the logo. So you can see some of the welding job. They kind of cut corners to save some money. The cable routing is done really well. It goes into the internal frame, so it's a nice sleek look. In addition, you got the 36-volt battery. And this battery is standard, and there's a key slot here, so you can pop out this battery. I'll show you in a bit. Here is the chain system. So you just got 1 speed in the front, and these pedals I've actually replaced because they came with really crappy plastic pedals. So I replaced them with nice platform pedals. Here's the cable routing. Keeps going backwards to where the hub motor is, and here are the specs on the hub motor. 250 watts of power. And you got 7-speed derailleur on the back here. Shimano, I'm not sure what exact model. And there's a derailleur guard as well. Now, moving to the back here, the braking system again is V brakes, and then you got another fender here on the back. So I had to put these on because they didn't come pre-installed. Coming back to this side, there is a kickstand here, and then moving to the seat, you got a very nice plush seat. Although this seat does creak. If you're considering purchasing this bike or any e-bike for that matter, you definitely need a good lock. So I highly suggest the Kryptonite Evolution series of lock. I'll have Amazon affiliate links down below. These locks will protect from just the thieves with the bolt cutters. And then in terms of the charger, it's using a generic MDA charger. This seems to be the standard kind of charger battery unit that comes with all the Hyper e-bikes, because this Hyper Rambler that I also purchased has the exact same battery charger. So they're basically all interchangeable, and they're all 36 volts. This if you see it on the website, the batteries are like kind of flush, then that basically means you're good to switch them out. In terms of if the battery ever goes bad, you can just purchase another battery. In terms of powering on the unit, you turn on the battery itself, and then you turn on the digital display here. You got 3 modes of pedal assist: a low, a medium, and a high. There is no throttle with this bike. There is also a 6 km button, and what this button will do is it's meant to kind of for you to use as you're pushing the bike along to give you a little bit of assist. But if you push it at a standstill like I just did there, it would just kind of kick you forward a little bit. So you might have noticed that this footage that I just showed you is actually not of this bike. That's because it's the exact same kind of system as the Hyper Rambler. Basically, Hyper probably mass produce these and use the exact same components, which again is going to be great if you need to kind of replace individual parts, because you can source these parts probably pretty easily on Amazon as well as AliExpress, or you can just buy a used e-bike off a marketplace, and then even if they're not the same model, as long as they're using the same components, you should be able to fix them. This bike is using a cadence sensor as opposed to a torque sensor, as expected out of an e-bike in this price range. But basically, a cadence sensor kind of ramps up power based on how many revolutions the pedals are going. And so as you're pedaling, you will sometimes feel a kick as the motor kicks in. Before that motor kicks in, you're kind of just on your own. Whereas a torque sensor feels more like a natural bike. It gives a little bit more kind of feedback. It feels more like a normal bike. So just keeping that in mind when you're purchasing this bike. In terms of range, I did do a range test. I biked from my house to work and then back. And it basically went from 4 bars to hovering between 2 and 3 bars. And that was about 19 kilometers. So the expected range of 32 kilometers, I would say, is pretty accurate, because I was using like level 3 assist all the way. And basically, if you use level 1 or level 2, I bet you can probably stretch it out to even more kilometers. In terms of hill climbing ability, there is a big hill near me here, about like 25% incline, and I was able to climb that no problem at level 3 power level. And then if I didn't want to work out my legs at all, I can just shift down to the lowest gear and then kind of just cruise on level 3, because you can sort of trick the bike into doing more of the work just by simply like pedaling faster using a lower gear. So that's a little tip and hack if you don't want to do any sort of actual biking. Now it's a part of the video, like I promised at the beginning, where I talk to you about how you can potentially make money with this e-bike. Basically, there's a website called Airbnb, of which I used to be a host. So these are some of the properties that I used to host on Airbnb. Now there's a new thing on Airbnb, which is called experiences. So if you just go to airbnb.ca or .com, you can find a destination. Let's say I'm in Toronto and I want to do an experience. So you select the date and you go search. So basically, there are currently people doing experiences right now with bicycles as well as e-bikes. find you one right here. So a Toronto Island morning bike tour. This is costing $111 per person on Airbnb. If you're thinking about this e-bike costing $400, you do 4 of these tours and it makes up for the bike itself. Of course, there's going to be time and energy invested in setting all this up. However, if you're already an Airbnb host, especially in a warm climate, I would like invest in a couple of these e-bikes. You don't have to do a tour. You just like rent them out for like $20, $5 a day. The guest is going to be super happy. They get to experience your city without having to walk everywhere. Especially it's going to be accessible to people who are not used to biking because it's electric assisted as well. And so you can see through that way how you're able to kind of make back the money of the bike, and then it might be able to generate some profit for you as well. If you've done this before, let us know in the comments below how it turned out. I'm really curious to hear about your experiences. In conclusion, this bike is best suited for kind of just a jaunt around the neighborhood, especially if you are buying it for somebody who's never biked in a while. And in terms of the negatives, it doesn't have a throttle. It's using a cadence sensor, and it is kind of poorly built. Some of the kind of material choices as well as like the weld job is not that there. But the positives are it's super cheap. It's a great entryway into getting an electric assisted e-bike without breaking the bank. And it's just pretty fun to ride. So if you're interested in purchasing this bike, I'll have Amazon affiliate links down below, as well as some of the gears and accessories I use, such as the Meta Smart Glasses. Also, make sure to purchase a good U-Lock. The Kryptonite Evolution U-Lock is great for deterring thieves because they're going to need an angle grinder to cut through U-Lock by Kryptonite.